Now it's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T. from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Boom, bam, bada bing, bada boom. Yes, the second time always works. And the third and fourth time. Sometimes the first time doesn't work so well. You know, but we'll come at you again. It's the Jesse T Show here on a Thursday in Southern California. What a beautiful day in the Southland, the land of pleasure and paradise. Oh, yes, the finest state in the United States of America to live in, where the quality of life is so special. It is so wonderful and terrific. I am so happy to live in the garbage state of the United States of America. Thank God for garbage wars and 60,000 homeless people. I was coming home last night. Yes, Dan the man. We were hanging out. We were doing our thing. We left the show, Roundup Wound Up, and we decided that we were going to go to the original Tommy's Burgers right down there on 3rd and Rampart. The original one has been there 71 years now. Oh, my goodness gracious. Hey, this is the Jesse T Show. Good to have you along with me. And the Brown Beauty is back on duty, on the air and everywhere, from the community to the world. We are doing it for you right here today as the week starts to get closer to the weekend. It's going to be some showers this weekend, so if you're going to go out there and enjoy the outside, you better do it in the next couple of days because it's supposed to be a little rainy this weekend. But, you know, hey, I like the rain as long as it's not the dredge, the pouring, the flood of all floods. But nevertheless, it's a beautiful day here in Southern California. Minus all the people, it'd be a lot better, that's for sure, especially the traffic. Hey, we are on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. We're checking in, saying hi to a terrific guy in Burbank. Barry Burnett is checking in, a terrific broker friend of mine. One of my gurus I turn to when I need to borrow $25. Hey, Barry, I need $25, man. Come on. I'll give you 12 points, okay? No, he's a great broker, terrific realtor. When I have something to ask, that guy's been everywhere. He's been in the business 10 years than me. Oh, Lord, help us. I've done 40, so he's got to be up there around 50 now. Man, okay, Barry, good to have you along with us. And also saying hi to Tom Watson. I used to know a Watson. I think it was Dave Watson. He was a disc jockey, and he also was the voice a little while of Channel 11, I believe, if my memory's correct on that. Dave Watson, I think that's what his name was, saying hi to Exelli106, and she has us on. She's waving us here. Hey, well, that's me over there on Instagram Live at Jesse Terrero. Instagram Live, we're broadcasting out on the great network that we put together for your enjoyment. My battery is low on this one, man. I'm going to have to connect the battery into the iPad so I can talk about a couple of things here. Do we have a hookup for that? I forgot to juice this one up. I juiced that one up, but I forgot to juice this one up. So, hey, all right. Hey, 424-227-9461. Want to get on board? The phones are wide open right here. We're going to have like a free wide open Thursday, right? Yes, a Thursday, a thunderific Thursday. You can also catch us on Blogger, Twitter, LinkedIn, and live stream in Periscope. Also Google Plus. I think we got about 15 million Google Plus impressions now. Over 100,000 fresh, brand new Facebook shares every month. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. It must mean you like me or you like to throw tomatoes at the screen, one or the other. But this is Jesse T, and we've been here for all week enjoying ourselves with you, talking about a lot of stuff. And, of course, last Sunday was the big Oscars presentation. And what did you think about the Oscars, the 90th anniversary of the Oscars? What did you think about the host, Jimmy Kimmel? What did you think about that stuff that they were doing in the theaters downstairs and around the corner at the rest of the Chinese theaters there? What did you think about the Oscars and all of that? I definitely thought some things about that I thought were very, very poignant in that respect. But, of course, we came fresh off that. We were down there on Hollywood and Vine. The whole crew was there, Dan the Man and Big Steve on the camera, and Lee Baby Michaels running everything for us, enjoying himself. And he saw a lot of people he hasn't seen in a long time out there, like the Pointer Sisters were out there, and they were having a good time. He and Lee, or they and Lee, Anita and Bonnie, and they made me promise I wasn't going to sing for them on the red carpet. I guess I'm starting to learn my lesson. I don't know. I'm trying to be a singer. I got to do something else than talk. Maybe I should learn to play the flute. Yeah, I'm going to learn to play the flute. I could be like Jethro Tull. I could play the flute. The guitar hurts the fingers too much. You got to put those calluses on the tips of the fingers. And the flute sounds kind of cool. Can blow that flute, right? Or maybe the saxophone. I think I'd be a good saxophone player. Drummer? Nah, drumming. I can't keep a good enough rhythm in drumming. I tried that when my daughter had a drum set, and I'd go up there and bang the drum, and that's basically what it was, just banging the drum. But we had a great time at Roger Neal Style Hollywood pre-dinner viewing Oscars party. Whew, what a mouthful. We had a great time there. We were on the red carpet, and I'm starting to post up all those videos now. I posted up a video I did with Jacqueline Murphy, and she's a producer-director, producing and directing lots of films, and she just looks stunning in her dress, as well as we posted up a video that we did from our live show. It's raw and uncut, too. I'm not cleaning them up. It is what it is. Dan the Man was in that one. Saying hi to Mona French Restaurant. Hey, Mona, what's happening? Peace to you, too, and I'm not going to eat snails. Thank you very much. And I don't eat sushi either. The thought of eating snails and eating sushi at a sushi bar, I like my fish cooked, and I like my snails in the garden. Thank you very much. But we had another interview, Christy Oldham, and she was an actress for a long time and crossed over into the producing and directing of independent films, and she was looking great in her gold dress. And Sophia Mills, of course, the ever wonderful and classy, elegant Sophia Mills, TV star, Miami CSI, and just about every cop show in the last 10 years she's been on, and lots of films under her belt. And let me see, who else are we going to post up? Oh, Hal Linden, the great actor from Barney Miller. So we're going to be posting up our interview with that. Looking forward to that. That was a treat talking to Hal Linden. I liked Barney Miller. I thought that was a fun show. That always followed All in the Family. That was another Norman Lear production. And, Norman Lear was like the hottest thing in the world in the 1970s and early 1980s. He could do no wrong in the production and producing of his films. The guy was just hit after hit after hit, and Barney Miller was one of those. So it was cool to have that. And he mentioned something to me interesting, that the character that played Wozniak, or the Polish detective, and in real life, and Hal Linden are the only surviving members of that cast, that principal cast. And I got to thinking about it. And, he's right. They've all passed away. All of them are gone. Of course, Abe Vigoda was in that, and Abe Vigoda was in the great Godfather movie, and so many other Italian gangster mafia movies over the years. Abe Vigoda, and he was a guy that double-crossed the Godfather, and that great line at the car when he looks at Robert Duvall, and he says, "Hey, Tommy, is there anything you can do for me? Anything?" And Robert Duvall says, "No, afraid not. It's just business." That's a great line. And he just gets into I think it was a Packard that he got into with the four guys, and off he went. And, they didn't have to show the guts and the gore like they do now today. You just knew what was going to happen next, down the street yonder, around the corner, and out to the suburbs of New York or Jersey, or wherever they were at. And he was going to meet his demise in a 6-foot grave. But that was a great scene, one of my favorites. So, but he was on Barney Miller, Abe Vigoda. I think that was I believe that was the last big production that he was a part of. What a terrific actor, though. And so we had a chance to talk to Hal Linden, and of course, Oscar-winning Louis Gossett Jr., one of my all-time favorite guys. That guy just cut so many great trails for African Americans, and the idea of the films that he was doing. His films were not just the black exploitation films in the 1970s. I mean, he did Broadway. He danced. He sang. He was in comedies. He was a great dramatic and is a great dramatic actor. I love one of the films that I love so much, and I remember, is the one where he played this alien, and a human they ended up on this planet together, uninhabited except for a really bad evil spirit or something, and they had to somehow communicate with each other, and we were at war with them, and they were at war with us, and I thought that was a great movie, because by the end they became the best of friends, and one of them passed away, and I believe it was Louis Gossett Jr. He had passed away because his character had something to do with he could get pregnant, a male-female species, but he could carry child, and he had a child at the end, but he died, and so the human had to take care of the child. Just a great movie. I love that movie. But Louis Gossett Jr. was there. Talked to him for a little bit of time, an Academy Award winner. Terrific actor. Looking good and healthy and strong, and a big Lou Ferrigno was there. So we got these interviews coming up, and oh Lord help me, Courtney Stodden was there, and you'll know who she is. She's the lady that's all over the internet right now because she broke up with her husband a year ago and getting a divorce now, and her husband was 50 when he met her, and she was 16. And they got married, and for 7 years, and now they're breaking up. And this woman is like the blonde bombshell of the century. Let me just tell you, she fills the screen beautifully. And so it was fun to talk with her. So anyhow, we want you to check it out, and you'll start looking at those videos there as we post them up on a regular basis now here for probably 3-4 days on Facebook.com/Jesse Torero. So tomorrow night, we're going to be out at the Kiss the Monkeys networking session for the celebration of one of the founders, Al Harris, and his birthday party. Lots of stars going to be out there, celebrities, politicians, literary people, just a whole potpourri of business people. So it's kind of a different environment, and it's going to be kind of cool. They always have a singer of some stature there, and a little variety show of something, and a fashion show, and they have all kinds of cool stuff. For some reason, Kiss the Monkeys have some of the most beautiful women part of their organization that you can imagine. It's pretty amazing how they've recruited, and they're in Chicago and New York and San Francisco and Los Angeles, and they're spreading their whole network across the nation. Just a terrific idea. I remember when they started a couple of years ago with just Raquel Sanchez and Al Harris, and now they've really spread across. And they take a lot of the money from these networking events, and they give them right directly to charity. It's not like the Red Cross, where the Red Cross keeps 99% of the money, and like the Salvation Army, and they give about 5% of the money out to actually the needing cause. That's one of the things about charities that you got to be careful of these days is even the namesake charities, you've got to be really careful because you got to make sure that the money that you give them is actually going to the cause and the need. A lot of people say, well, just go do it directly with people. No, but what you should do is find an organization that, that does show that they do give all of their money outside just enough to keep the business, the 501(c) going, and because you do have to pay some employees for that, but that they give most of their money, a large percentage of it, actually to the cause that they're doing. The worst thing to do is to see a charitable organization and you want to go up and donate some money into their office, and the guy drives up in a $250,000 Ferrari, and he's the director. That's got to be one of the worst things to see. Or you find out that the president of the organization is making $175,000 a year. I mean, it's like Congress, man. These cats, they make this money for life. It's terrible. Oh, gosh. Really, there's something that we got to do about our government situation here because it's so corrupt. It just blows my mind how corrupt the federal government is, but also how corrupt the California government is and how just despicable this state has turned into. So, nevertheless, one of the most disheartening things is when you do want to work with a charity, you'll find out that most of the money doesn't go to the cause. So you want to check that out always. And Kiss the Monkeys, they do take money and they give to very, very quality charities. So you want to check that out. We'll have some info on that on the website at facebook.com/Jesse Torero. Saying hi to Jose Beltran. Now, Jose Beltran remembers me way back in the day at 1580 K-Day, and he was a DJ, and he's got a company called WPS, which is kind of cool. They do all those red carpets and stuff and lay out all those backdrops, those media boards and stuff. Thanks a lot, Jose, for having us on. Appreciate that. It's good to see you still doing well, and that's terrific. Also, saying hi to Renee Piane. Renee Piane. I think I pronounced that right. Didn't I, Renee? I know I may have messed it up because I do mess these names up pretty badly sometimes, and they don't sound like they're supposed to sound like. But I believe Renee is a love doctor. That's right. And what she does, she is degreed in... she helps people fall in love on a clinical level. Interesting. Huh. Wow. A sex therapist, maybe? Love therapist? Something like that? A prescription. Well, I got a prescription. Run around the house naked, at least a couple of times a week, right? Slip and slide in the tub in the shower, right? Come on now. That's what you got to do. You kind of got to get out there and make it happen. If you're not making it happen, then it ain't going to happen. That's a funny thing. As you get older, you have to make it happen. Because it doesn't always happen when you want it to happen for some reason. I don't know why that is. When you wanted it to happen when you were younger, boy, it just would happen. But as you get older, it just doesn't happen like that.
Just slam some Barry White and it'll happen.
You think so?
That'll do it every time.
Barry or Luther?
Both.
Yeah. How about Smokey?
You can throw some Smokey.
Some Marvin too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Al Green?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
See, you got that combination going. You got a hit.
Well, I'll tell you, man. It does help. Music does help every situation.
Definitely. So I made you think about it, didn't I?
Alcohol helps too.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
I don't want to be impaired.
You don't want to be
Altered.
impaired?
No. I don't want to have anything that's going to alter the moment.
And sometimes alcohol, you just don't get impaired. You get impaled.
Give that too. Yes.
That's right.
So I don't want to go down that road.
No. Saying hi to Kelly Fettig, who has us on. Thanks, Kelly. What we should ask is, what's the romantic situation that if you had to set something up, how would you set up your romantic situation? What would be the romantic situation if you wanted to set something up and impress somebody? What would you do romantic-wise? Interesting. I don't know. Everybody's a little bit different there. That's for sure. And especially today, I just don't get what's going on with romance today. I mean, man, the stuff you see now is the stuff you would have never saw 30 years ago. It's unbelievable. There's a model we're gonna have in here, a penthouse pinup model girl, right? Penthouse model, and we're working on getting her in here to interview her and talk about her career. And so Dan the Man showed me her most recent Penthouse pictures in Penthouse magazine. I don't remember Penthouse being so open. But I haven't looked at a Penthouse magazine in probably 35 years. But my goodness, Penthouse magazine, man, they don't hide anything to the imagination. at all. It's just amazing to me how our society has gone to that step in terms of we have to be so visual. Everybody's different. Some people are auditory, some people are visual. But boy, our society is based on visual titillation, isn't it? So anyhow, back to what's going on in the state here. What I don't figure out and what I can't figure out is what went wrong. Yeah, what has gone wrong in the state of California that we live in a state where there's so much trash and filth on the street. There's hypodermic needles in every major town. They had a hepatitis A breakout and almost a quarantine down in San Diego earlier in 2017, where they literally had to clean the streets with a special bacteria substance that the city had to buy, and they had hazmat units out there every night of the week for like a month, literally blowing down the streets with this chemical because they had a serious hepatitis A outbreak in their problem. And we're up in San Francisco. They spend $30 million a year cleaning up all their parks and public areas from all the hypodermic needles, used condoms, and such. And here in Los Angeles, I mean, we've got so much trash built up. If you ever drive down any alleys in Los Angeles and you look at the amount of trash that is being piled up, because we are having garbage wars right now. The 3 companies that got the contract to help pick up the trash here in Los Angeles, because the city of Los Angeles had its own trash service that you would pay for in your water bill. A portion of your water bill would go to the trash service. But they hired recently and opened up the bidding last year for independent companies like Waste Management as such to help them pick up the trash. And the problem with that has been happening is these companies didn't realize the amount of work and money and trucks and dumping fees and distance to dumping places that they had to deal with the city of Los Angeles. And so with all the regulations that the city imposed upon them, they're basically making no money and they're not doing their job. And there's a big corrupt concept going on right now with the trash pickup people and political payoffs, and all of that is coming out now. There's a guy running for Lieutenant Governor, David Hernandez. This is one of his major platforms, is the trash. And it really is important. You laugh about it, but you think about your street, in your alley, your neighborhood, your favorite restaurant, your favorite store to go to, and if there's trash everywhere and the disease that rotting trash brings, and the homeless people attacking the trash cans and throwing the trash, looking for food or shoes or whatever they look for, which is everything, and they throw the trash outside the trash can, and nobody does anything about it. And it just creates more filth and disease and stench. So we have a big trash problem. And this political gentleman who's running for Lieutenant Governor, Dave Hernandez, we had him in here. That's one of his main political items. It's really important because down in San Diego, they had a hepatitis A breakout because the streets were so filthy and disgustingly dirty. And we're talking about even the tourist areas of San Diego, where the restaurants are and stuff. It was terrible. So you've got the 3 major cities in the state of California that are just getting worse. And I remember when Los Angeles was clean, at least cleaner than it is now. I mean, my grandparents moved to L.A. in 1938. And if you pick up any pictures from 1930s and 40s, you can see what Los Angeles looked like then and to what it looks like now. And I do remember when we came here in 62 from Chicago, we came here. my mom and dad and myself. And I remember growing up and not seeing literally, really graffiti on anything and trash anywhere. It's amazing how this city has just literally, the infrastructure has fallen apart. Yet Confetti Garcetti, who wants to run for 2020 presidential bid, he and Tony V, who wants to be the next governor. The last mayor we had here, who all he was interested was screwing beautiful, gorgeous Latina reporters and taking them on his trips all around the world because he was trying to find business opportunities for the city of Los Angeles, and he got popped doing that, and his wife divorced him. Ex-gang member Tony Villaraigosa. Tony V wants to be the governor of the state of California. Well, why not? Because we have El Stupido, Governor Moonchild Brown, who in his first tenancy in the governor's house in Sacramento had no furniture and would, be banging Linda Ronstadt while they were both smoking lots of pot, baby. Right? That was the first time. So, we've had criminals run our state here. Yeah. So why not another one, huh? But this guy, but Garcetti, he pounds his chest like King Kong and says, look what I've done for the city. What have you done for the city, Garcetti? What have you done? What have you done? You haven't done anything, but you sure smell and look good like a Hollywood set. If you ever been on a Hollywood set in a back lot or in a stage, they can recreate anything. And now with the green screens, they can recreate just about anything. But the old-time sets that they used to build to recreate something, you walk through the door, and behind the set is the infrastructure that's holding it up, and the wires, and the light cables, and the camera cables, and the people back there, and all that stuff. That's what Confetti Garcetti is like. He's like a big, giant Hollywood set. What has he done for the city of Los Angeles in his 2-term era? And I argue not much, because the city sure has gotten worse. When I started fighting the homeless problem here in the northeast San Fernando Valley, I started counting. There's the city council seat 7, 6, all of these. In fact, this happens right across the United States. It's something that takes place every year in October, and it's called Count the Homeless. And it's about a month. It takes about a month. They started in October, I believe it is, and they count the homeless in every city in the United States. And they leave it up to the city councils to set up teams to do that. And here in Los Angeles, each little city has a neighborhood city council, which is a part of the city council seat in that district. And so we count the homeless. And I started that, jumping into that about 12 years ago when I had some idea that I wanted to be in politics. Of course, I've been a community activist since I was about 20 years old, 18 years old. I was one of the first guys that started. I got free paint from the DWP, and I would paint out all the graffiti in Sun Valley, where I was living at the time and doing a lot of real estate. And I did that for about 6 or 7 years. And I would get the free paint to do that and paint it out. And lots of times gang members would come up and say, why are you painting my stuff out? And I'd buy them a pizza and beer. Hey, because I got to clean it up. Well, we're just going to paint it back. I know you are. You want a 6-pack of beer and some pizza? Yeah. Okay, come back in a little bit. When I'm all done, I'll go buy you some beer and pizza. Yeah, but anyway, I would paint all that stuff out and pick up the trash in the alleys and where I worked, where I did my real estate farming and prospecting, and way before the city was doing this kind of stuff. But nevertheless, I've always been there. So I thought, well, what can I do? So I jumped on this homeless bandwagon about 10, 12, 13 years ago, started counting the homeless. And it was a lot of fun. And I really thought I was doing something special. I really thought that by counting the homeless, we could get a head check and we could get maybe more federal and state money to help the homeless get off the streets, re-educate, clean them up from their drug and alcoholism. We could maybe get them clean clothes, a shower at the very least, some medicine, but just do some basic things. And after years of doing that, of course, the psychiatrists were out there, and the psychologists, and the medical doctors, and everything. When they would set up these places at school auditoriums, or mostly the parks in Los Angeles. They would set up these big encampments, so for a week the homeless could come in and get themselves cleaned up and get off the streets. And the thing that I noticed is that year after year, I would see the same homeless people. And they were cognizant. Some of them weren't drug addicts. Some of them were actually PhDs and had master's degrees and fought in the military, fought for the United States in the military, were teachers, worked for General Motors, worked on the assembly line, worked at the studios at one time. I mean, some of them were just as lucid as you and I. And so they started then doing these statistics about 7 years ago when the homeless problem was starting to grow. And when I got involved, there was maybe only about 10 or 12,000 homeless people in all the city of Los Angeles about 10, 12 years ago. And then about 7 years ago, it rose to about 35,000 homeless people. And then that's when the social scientists, the social engineers came out and started doing all these statistics. Because the greater statistics you had, the more money the city could get. And the county and the state and the feds would cut checks, you see. And the homeless problem kept growing. 35,000, 38,000 the next year, 41,000 the next year, 45,000 the next year, 46,500. All right. So when it got to 50,000, which was a couple of years ago, I said to myself, this is a glorious waste of money and time. No problems are being solved. Nothing is being solved. About 5 years, let me see, 1, 2, 3. When did I run for CD7? So that was 1, 2, 3 years ago. 4 years ago was the last time I counted the homeless. And the statistic came out, the survey came out that the city did, and wanted to know how many people were homeless and why they were homeless. And I remember when they started putting those cards, and before these guys could get service, they had to fill out this card and answer these questions because the city was running a survey. And lo and behold, the statistics on that survey read like this. And I'm not exact right now, but I'm going to be in the ballpark. They read like this. 100% we start at. The homeless at that time was about 50,000 people. Okay. And this is what happened. Roughly 75 to 85% of all the people that were homeless because they wanted to be homeless. Okay. Now, I'm going to get back to that in a second. About 10% or so, give or take a few points either side, about 10%, give or take a few points, were just lost to the universe. Their brains were so fried on drugs, alcoholism, mental illness, some health issue that, like runaway diabetes where they couldn't even move, heart conditions where they just were lost. They were just lost. They would never be fixed, could never be fixed, and that's it. They're gone. They're ghosts. They're walking human ghosts. And roughly about 10%, give or take either side, 6, 7, 11, 12, give or take either side, were people that perhaps were just like you, were people that some tragedy happened in their life that slammed them so hard that they got thrown out on the street in their car. And it's just a circumstance of events, loss of a job, health, loss of insurance, loss of a house, the house burned down, the company burned down, they couldn't get reestablished, a series of events, and they didn't want to be there. And they wanted to be off the streets. And they took advantage when they would come into these camps that the city would put together to help the homeless after we counted the homeless. They would come in, and the first place they would go is, housing, medical, food. How do I get off? How do I re-educate myself? How do I retrain myself so I can get employed? I mean, these characters, men and women, they were just like, man, thank goodness you're here. I would have never been able to get around to all these agencies. And almost 100% of those people were off the streets, reestablishing their lives for themselves and their families, living in homes, condos, apartments, or whatnot, and having a job and just being like you and me, like everybody in the struggles of life, right? And they would be so happy and so wonderful. And, that was really cool. But then you would look over to your shoulder on the right and you would see all these others, 75 to 85%, give or take, over here. Man. And they weren't on drugs, a lot of them. So, I decided one time I wanted to go talk to them and ask them a couple questions. Like, why are you homeless? And are you ever going to get off the streets? Or do you like being on the streets? And if you do, why? And the answers I got were pretty astonishing. Oh, man, I'm not going to ever get off the streets. I like being on the streets. I don't got to worry about nothing on the streets. I can eat. I can get free medicine. I can get free room and board, free transportation, free clothes. I can get sex on the street. And if I want to drink and do drugs, I can do that, but I don't do that. I can have a TV. I can get a free cell phone. I can do lots of things. I don't have to pay taxes, power bills, water bills, gas bills, insurance bills. I get free medical. I just walk into the emergency center if I'm not feeling real well. And I can even get put up in a place to get well for a little while for free. I can take showers for free. I don't have to worry about paying taxes. I don't have to worry about doing anything. Look at these new shoes I got. These are like $200 shoes. I got these for free. And I would listen, not just to one person, but to many people. And I said to myself, man, and someone would say, I can even make some money. And I do. I make money. I raid people's trash cans. I get metal, wood, plastic, take it down to recycle center. People give me money all the time. I probably make $600-700 a week making money. Sometimes I only make $200 a week. People give me money. I never accept anybody's food because I can get food anytime I want. In fact, I got all the food I want because there are like 3 food stations around here that feed us 3 times a day. And I said to myself, man, wonder what all that amounts to. Wonder what all that comes to on a financial basis. And I said, Then, lo and behold, the universe gave me a gift, and the federal government did a statistic on what the average homeless person makes in freebies and welfare assistance and EBT and all the free stuff that they get from the system that you don't know about. Because these cats are expert in the game of mental warfare. They know how to pull your heartstrings. They know how to get you. Believe me. And you know what the average amount of money, and this was about 5 years ago, and the average amount of money about 4 to 5 years ago that all of these special services provided the homeless people here in California, Los Angeles, mounted to an income between $30,000 and $50,000 a year, tax-free. Wow. Let me ask you a question. How long does it take you to make $50,000 a year? Let's say you work 6 days a week, 40 hours a week. You're working 6 times 4. What is that? Okay? 6 days a week, 40 hours a week. Let's see if we can do some quick math here. 5 days a week at 40 hours a week, right? That's 40 hours a week. Okay? So 6 days a week, that means you're working, what? 6.5 hours a day, roughly? So let's say you're working 8 hours a day, and your week isn't 40 hours. Your week is 48 hours. Okay. And they're taking money out of your check for your insurance, and they're taking money out of your check for your taxes, and they're taking money out of your check for maybe you have an investment account like a 401k. All right. Then you got to go pay your rent bill, your mortgage payment, your house bill, your car insurance, your house insurance, your property tax, the power bill, the gas bill, the water bill. Okay? Then you got to put some gas in your car. Then you got to go buy some food. And you got to put your kids and get their books and their clothes. And you got to prepay some insurance costs because you're going to go to the doctor and you probably have a deductible, right? And then you've got to also maybe water your grass, fix something in your house, buy a new tire, get a radiator, the refrigerator goes out. Your daughter and your son need $20 because tomorrow they got a special event at school. You buy lunch, you buy breakfast, you buy dinner. Okay? And then you got to have some shoes, underwear, and you have to have some pants and dresses and bras. And women have to have hygiene products, and men have to have shaving products and hygiene products. You get your hair cut, you get your hair done, you get your nails done, right? You might join a gym. You may not, but you do some kind of working out somewhere. Maybe you buy some weights, do it in your garage, something like that. And then you decide, oh, I got to pay for my cell phone bill because, we don't have landlines anymore. And my computer just broke, and I got to pay the internet bill and the cable bill, and I got to pay the DirecTV bill. Got to pay that. And then you decide, well, I got to go see my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my uncle, my best pal, my cousin, my nephew, my niece, because they just got sick and I want to go visit them in the hospital, and they live in San Diego, so it's going to cost me gas, time, money, and I got to stay somewhere, right? Okay. And then you have a birthday for your mom, your sister, your son, your daughter. You got a birthday party you got to take care of on that Saturday coming up, right? And the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Got to pay your credit cards because you don't make enough money. 48 hours a week at $50,000. All of it goes away. So you get in credit card debt because you want to have these things, and some of them are emergency things. Let's say you're a frugal person. You're not a crazy person. You don't spend frivolously, but you still have credit card debt. And it goes up, and your car breaks down. But you still got to make that payment. $50,000. It doesn't last long. And you got to work 48 hours for that. But that homeless person sits around all day long doing nothing and gets $50,000 worth of all the freebies that you got to pay for. And that's 75 to 85% of them because they know the system better than you know any system because that's their job, to be homeless. Now, when I found that stuff out, my empathy, my compassion went right out the door for those people because they don't walk around, hey, I'm crazy. I'm hooked up on heroin, crack, and doing meth. So don't bother with me. I got massive diabetes and my legs are the size of Mack truck tires. I'm going to die anyway, so don't bother me. Or, hey, please help me, please help me, please help me. My house burned down and we couldn't pay for the fire insurance and we lost it and we're on the street. I'll do anything to get off the street. Please teach me a new job. Or, hey, man, you got some money? hey, man, I'm going to come to your trash cans at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm going to set up an encampment down the alley along the way by your house. And all my pals are going to move in there. I get free condoms anyway, so I don't got to worry about that. Okay? So, hey, see, you don't know which one is who. And they're real good at mental maneuvering. So we got this homeless problem, 60,000 strong now in Los Angeles. And what do you do about it? There ain't nothing that anybody's going to do about it. Because once somebody learns that they can get off over the system, very rarely do they get off. We have 100 million people on some sort of government assistance in this country. Go to a website called Population Clock USA, whatever. You just Google something like that, and you'll see a website that'll tell you exactly how much money the government's spending right now and the state of California. We have 100 million people on some sort of government assistance right now in this country. 100, that's a third of our population. You think that's going to be solved? You know, all these special interest bleeding heart groups that give, thinking they're going to solve something, and they solve nothing. But boy, the directors of these groups sure live high on the hog. Vacations, nice cars, hot-looking men, fine-looking girls, good dinners. Yeah. Just look at Detroit. If you want to see how Chicago is going, and how New York is starting to go, thank God Giuliani saved New York. Because it was a mess before him. But it's starting to fall apart. Real fast. Chicago's almost gone. San Francisco is losing it. San Diego has a problem. And these are just towns and cities that I know about. And Los Angeles is lost. You want to see how these cities are going to go? Go back and research the great city of Detroit, which was once the fourth largest city, metropolitan area in the United States of America. Go see the taxes for special interest groups, for social groups that was imposed upon the people that were making money since the start of the car business. Just go look at Detroit and see what happened. Because Chicago, San Francisco, L.A., Oakland, they should arrest that mayor. That's federal law. If you did that, they'd be knocking down your door to the FBI. Okay? Yeah. New York. Phoenix is even falling apart. You been to Phoenix lately? Unbelievable. How about Portland? Oh, God. Seattle. How about that? Drug capital, free condoms and shoot houses. Oh, wait, we got that here in Los Angeles now. The corruptness is off the chart. But yet, our governors, our mayors, our city councils think they're doing such a great big job, and they bang their chest with pride. They don't care. The only way you're going to solve this is to have a massive revolution in this country. Thank God we got the Second Amendment, because if that happens, you'd be happy you have one. If it doesn't, you're going to fall by the wayside. And a massive revolution is not ever going to happen, because they'll come blow your house up with a freaking drone in the middle of the night. That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So give up that idea. The only way that's going to happen is there's some imposed emergency that's put on this country, like World War III, when communist China and Russia dropped bombs on us by 2025, using their scapegoat North Korea to do it. I mean, we should have a preemptive strike on them right now, because that all they are is patsies for the Chinese and Russian government who are getting ready. 50% of our subs are in port 24 hours a day. Clinton signed off that one. There's a presidential order that we have to take a first hit strike. It's called PB 106 or something. I'll get the order number. That's been in existence since since the Russians got the bomb in 54. Yeah, we have to take a hit before we can retaliate. You think I'm goofing? Look it up. Do some homework. So, revolution, that's not going to happen. Major urgent war, that might happen. Look what the bombing of the trade towers did. It made the Bushies, the most disgusting satanic family the world's ever created in modern history. It made them richer beyond amorous. And their globalist, Rockefeller, Rothschild scumbags. That's a whole nother topic. So, yeah, maybe there's going to be a major bomb. Maybe an EMP explosion at 200 miles above the earth and knock out North America's whole power grid for 25 years. Oh, they can do that right now. So what's it going to take? Well, I don't know. I think it's a lost cause, if you ask me. I think you got to look out for your own. You better have a lot of Band-Aids and bullets and a place to go. Take care of your family, your kids, your grandkids. Otherwise, they're going to be lost to the wolves. Short of that, we need to vote all the sons of a bitches right out of government. That's what we need to do. And we need to impose upon them true term limits. Term limits where they can't come back. Where they can't come back and they can't network and become worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's unbelievable how much these presidents make. And I don't care who they are. The only two that have been least affected by the globalist elite are Reagan and Trump. Everybody else, Republican or Democrat, Eisenhower warned us of this on his last speech. The military-industrial complex, which means banking, government, and corporations. He was a Republican, by the way. So, Kennedy tried to get us out of the Federal Reserve. They whacked him. So, look it. We got to have term limits, real term. You want to protest something, ladies and gentlemen? You want to protest all these stupid, ridiculous protest marches, BLM, KKK, all that contrived crap? Why don't you protest true term limits in this country? Why don't you protest against idiots like Brown, who are letting 10,000 pedophiles go over the next year and a half out of prison? Why don't you protest, the homeless? Why don't you protest garbage pickup? Why don't you protest things of significance? But you get lost in the emotion because you're like Pavlov's dog. I'm serious. Protest term limits. Give these suckers 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, and they're gone. So they can't have a lifetime of politics, networking, and ripping off you, the American public. That's what you protest. My goodness. The Jesse T Show. Right here on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. Instagram Live at Jesse Terrero. YouTube, we got to build that up. YouTube Jesse Terrero, and the powerofvoices.com. Download that free app, won't you, for your Androids and your Apple phones? Go to our website at the Power of Voices and check it out. Hey, have a good one. We'll see you on Monday. The Brown Beauty's off duty. See ya. Boom, baby.